Today I'm talking about a story that was sent in by a viewer on Instagram, and it's about the time where he got locked into a bathroom stall by one of his friends. If you want your story to be featured in a video on this second channel, all you have to do is DM me at GliderGuyYT on Instagram and you're all good to go. So this story starts off 2 years ago, and we'll call this subscriber Nick. So Nick was 13 at the time, and it was his first year of high school. It was year 7 because this kid lives in Australia, meaning that he's basically, he goes to the Australian school system. The way the Australian school system works is that you start from primary school, so you go from prep to year 6, and then you basically go from year 7 to year 12, which is basically just high school. Now, Nick has this friend called Jake. Now, Jake isn't, and I'll be honest, Jake is not the best kid in the world. He gets very mad at things very, very easily, and Nick told me that he's basically just a rage monster. Like, he's got a lot of anger issues, and I don't think he never really got them checked out. So he's constantly just getting angry at people and constantly just being a riot. So this story all starts off on a Sunday night when Jake and Nick decided to play games, and they were basically playing Rocket League until about 9 PM, until Jake decided randomly just to start rage quitting. So Jake rage quit at about 9 PM because I can't even remember what it really was. Nick basically tells me that they were playing duels all night, and Nick just kept whooping Jake's ass and just kept absolutely destroying him in this game. And Jake couldn't really take it anymore, and Nick was just absolutely destroying him. So Jake decided, you know, I'm just gonna leave the game. Like, I can't be with that anymore. So we left without saying goodbye, and everything was all settled and done. So the next morning, right, Jake doesn't talk to Nick at all. So normally Nick and Jake are like basically best friends at this point. Like they play all the time and they do all this sort of stuff all the time. But for some reason, Jake walked into school and literally did not say a word to Nick. So Nick went up to him once and he was like, Jake, yo, what's going on? And Jake's like, bro, I don't want to talk to you right now. Like, you pissed me off. I just need a day where I don't talk to you. And Nick's like, yo, why? Why can't you talk to me? He said, bro, you pissed me off, alright? I don't want to talk to you. You've been pissing me off, and I just need a moment to breathe. And at that point, Nick's like, okay, well, this just doesn't make any sense, right? Like, why is he so angry? It was literally a game of Rocket League. Well, why do people take games so seriously? This is the thing I don't get, right? Is that people take video games so seriously. Like, I understand that you might get angry at a video game, but to take it on to the next day and to be so angry at your friend the next day after playing the game, it's literally a pointless argument, right? Like, people are gonna argue about video games and all this sort of stuff, and oh, you cheated and you did this, and I'm mad at you for it. It's like, I understand it. I understand if it's like in the heat of the moment, but for 14 hours later for you to still be angry at your friend for basically getting mad at a Rocket League game, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So anyway, Jake doesn't talk to Nick for literally like the next 3 hours of school. So they both didn't have any classes together, which is probably a good thing, to be honest with you. And basically Jake and Nick just stayed away from each other during recess and lunch. They had period in 1 and 2 and they didn't have it together. Then they had period 3 and 4 and they didn't have that together either. Then at lunch is where this story time really starts to kick off. So basically at lunch, Nick goes into the bathroom. So Nick ended up sitting there basically just playing on his phone, just doing his own thing, you know, just chilling out and just getting away from school. Because obviously, right, school's probably the worst place you can be during the school day. Like, I'd literally rather be anywhere else than be in school. So anyway, Nick's just sitting there chilling, and then eventually hears Jake come in. He didn't know it was Jake at the time, but he tells me that Jake walked in, and he basically wasn't very happy with Nick, right? So Jake had obviously seen Nick go into the toilet for some reason, and he basically walked in as Nick went into the toilet and basically started talking to him. So the conversation started out pretty small, right? So Jake basically asked Nick how he was going, you know, just saying, yo, what's up? Like, I've sort of calmed down a little bit now. And Nick says he's alright. He's like, yeah, I'm alright. Like, how are you? And then Jake starts talking to Nick about how he's really just pissed him off from last night, and how what he was doing last night was really annoying him. And Nick says, what do you mean? Like literally, what was I doing? Like, we were just playing Rocket League, and I beat you fair and square, and you just got mad at me for no reason. And then Jake says, yeah, bro, you were just annoying me. Like, you were being a complete sweat. Like you weren't giving me a chance, and you didn't let me win once. And Nick says, it's literally just a game. Like chill out. Like, I'm not just gonna let you win just because you want me to. Like, it really isn't that big of a deal. Like why can't you just get over it? It's Rocket League, for God's sake. And then Jake starts getting a little bit louder. He starts going, all right, buddy, if you really want to play that game, right, then there's gonna be problems. All right, you've pissed me off. If you're gonna keep going, then there's gonna be problems. And then Nick just sort of sits there and ignores him because, like, it's really just a stupid argument. Like these two are literally arguing over Rocket League. Like, it's not something that anyone should be caring about, like, to this extent. Like, Jake was really starting to get pissed off at Nick for basically no reason at this point, and I really don't understand why. So Nick ignores him for probably another 20 seconds, and then Jake really starts to get louder. He's like, all right, listen here. And then he starts saying a bunch of homophobic slurs and racist things that I'm obviously not going to say in the video because, you know, I'd probably get demonetized if I said it. But he basically started going on about how he's going to F his mom and all this sort of stuff, and how no one loves him, and he's cheap for doing what he did on Rocket League, which was literally just beat him in the game. And then eventually, after Nick ignores him for another 2 minutes, minutes, Jake Jake is at his breaking point, right? Like he literally looks like he's gonna cry. He sounds like he's gonna cry, and then he mouths very quietly to Nick, probably one of the most creepy things I've ever heard, and still to this day I'll never understand why he said this. He goes, "This isn't gonna be the last of me," and then Nick hears the door shut, and Jake basically walks out, and Nick says, "You literally aren't gonna do anything. Like what are you gonna do? Like you literally are weak as piss. Like, mate, I literally beat you in Rocket League, and now you're getting all worked up about it. Like, what's wrong with you?" Now, this probably isn't the most mature thing to do, considering the fact that Jake was very angry, and you know, it was a very angry man. But to be honest, right, like Nick literally got yelled at for the last 2 minutes. Like, I really don't blame him for doing what he did. And then as soon as Jake hears this, right, as soon as Jake hears Nick say that he's not gonna do anything, Jake runs back into the stall, and he says, "What did you just say to me? What'd you just say to me?" And Nick says, I said what I said, right? Like you're literally not gonna do anything. Like you're literally small." And then Jake goes, "Just you wait, bro. Just you wait. I highly recommend you sleep with your eyes open." Some just super villain crap. Bro, who actually says that? And then Nick says, "All right, sure you are." And then Jake says, "You know what, Nick? F you," and then just leaves the stall and then just slams the door again. Again, I don't know why he was doing this, but he just kept doing it for some reason. So after this all happens, there really wasn't much that happened that day. I mean, apart from after school, which I'll talk about in a second. But basically, Nick and Jake went through their last 2 periods of school. There really wasn't much that happened there. They basically just went through English and maths or whatever they were doing. Then they got to the part where the bell rang, and it was 3:20, and these two were gonna leave. They were gonna go back home, and you know, there wasn't gonna be any more beef, right? Right? Yeah, well, it's not really that simple. So Nick goes outside and instantly sees Jake, right? So Jake is sitting there with like 3 of his friends, and he literally starts eyeing down Nick as he's going to his bus. Like, he didn't say anything to him. He didn't yell out saying, "Oi, Nick," or something like that. He literally just sat there and stared him down. Like this was a death stare. When I tell you this was a death stare, this was a death stare. And Nick eventually just ignores him and just says, "Yo, like this guy's like, he's not worth my time. I'm just gonna keep walking," which is what you should do, right? Like if some little kid is sitting there just staring you down, like there's no point looking at him back and arguing, like just walk off. It really isn't worth your time. So Nick puts on his headphones, right, and then he starts walking away. But eventually he hears Jake coming up behind him, and this is the point where stuff starts to go down. So Jake comes up behind him and literally just pushes Nick full force, and he almost hits the ground, but he doesn't, because it really wasn't that hard of a push, but it was pretty hard. So Nick turns around and instantly goes, "Yo, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro?" And then Jake says, "You better watch yourself tomorrow. I highly recommend you don't come to school, but if you do, then you better be ready, because I want to fight you." And Nick's like, "Bro, I'm not gonna fight you. Like, this is literally over Rocket League. Like, what's wrong with you?" He's like, "Don't question me, bro. Like you caused this, and you're gonna finish it, alright?" And then Nick goes, "Whatever, bro." And then he literally just runs off to his bus, and then ends up getting on. So at this point, Nick thought everything was alright. You know, Nick thought Jake really wasn't gonna do anything, because you know, it was literally over a Rocket League game. Like surely someone isn't this immature. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case, because the next morning, Nick walked into school and instantly went to the toilet because he had to go to the toilet. And now Nick didn't see Jake walk into the school, but for some reason Jake literally had tracked him, like, as he was walking into the school. And then eventually, as soon as Nick locks the stall, instantly 3 people walk into the bathroom. So there was the boys' bathroom, and there were literally 4 people only in the bathroom. So there was Nick, Jake, and 2 of his other friends. Now the stalls were empty at this point because it was getting to about 8:50, and it was basically at the point where everyone was going to their homerooms. So Nick eventually finished using the toilet, and then he tried to get out of the toilet, but as soon as he tried to open the door, it was instantly stopped by Jake. And Nick's like, "Jake, what do you want? Like let me go to class. I gotta go to class." And Jake's like, "No, bro, you want to talk smack about me, and you want to keep ignoring me? Then we're gonna fight. We're gonna do it right here, right now." And Nick's like, "Jake, I'm not gonna fight you and your friends here. Like, it's literally a 3-on-1. Like, you've brought 2 of your friends here. That is the most pussy thing you could have ever done." And Jake's like, "Don't call me a pussy, or else it's gonna be a lot harder for you. So listen up. We're gonna fight right now, and there's nothing you're gonna do about it." And Nick says, "Look, I'm not gonna fight you, okay? Why can't you just go? Like, what's wrong with you? This is literally over a game of Rocket League." And Jake says, "Oh yeah? Okay, this is how we're gonna play? Then I guess we're gonna sit here then, and we're gonna wait till you come out." So I'm not even kidding. Nick literally sat in the toilet with 3 people there ready to literally beat the absolute living crap out of him because of a Rocket League game. 2 hours go by, right? Literally 2 hours, and it gets to 11 AM at this point. At this point, like, all 4 of these people have missed 2 periods of class. And then it got to recess, and it got to a point where literally everyone was going into the toilets, and obviously everyone who was walking into the toilets didn't really care. Like, they didn't really bat an eyelid. Like, they probably just thought that these three were waiting to go into the toilet. But then after recess ended and after it was about 11:05, it got to the point where like teachers were starting to go around looking for these four because teachers had obviously seen them walking into the school, but they hadn't been to any classes. So the teachers started looking all around, and there was an announcement that came on that said, "Nick, can you please come to the office?" And obviously Nick couldn't come to the office because Jake was still sitting there outside the toilet. This guy had been sitting there for 2 hours. And then eventually the doors opened to the toilets, and there was a teacher literally sitting right there. Like, there was a teacher who'd been scouting the area and eventually decided to check the toilets. This teacher saw 3 people literally just sitting at the toilets doing nothing, and while there were 2 free stalls open, and basically just said, "Alright, everyone get out of here right now. Like, I'm looking for Nick. Is Nick in here anywhere?" And Jake says, No, I haven't seen Nick anywhere. Like, I don't know where he is. And then the teacher says, "Okay, so who's in that stall right there, and why are you standing outside of it?" And then eventually Nick realizes it's safe, right? So he opens the stall, and obviously Jake and his 2 friends can't like start beating the crap out of Nick because there's a teacher right there. And Nick goes, "I'm here. Like these 3 have literally been sitting here for the last 2 hours trapping me in here. Like please let me go." And at this point, Jake and his friends like all their faces drop, right? Like they're absolutely screwed. They're like, "Oh, okay, we've absolutely screwed. Like, this kid just snitched on us." Which, to be fair, I don't really blame them for snitching, right? Because they literally like Nick literally got locked in the stall for 2 hours. So anyway, the teacher was really mad, right? Like, the teacher said, "Alright, all 4 of you in my office right now. Like I need to have a chat." And Nick basically for some reason got a lunchtime detention for staying in the toilet for 2 hours, even though it wasn't his fault. But then Jake and his friends did also get suspended for bullying the kid. So at the end of the day, right, Jake did really get the harsher punishment. Anyway, moral of the story is, don't bully people that don't deserve to be bullied, especially over a game of Rocket League. Like who really cares? Anyway, thank you all for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed, let me know down in the comments down below. Send in your story times at GliderGuyYT and you might be featured in a video just like today's one. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video.